thinking again. Hold it in and change my breathing. Settle down and stop repeating amends. I feel like a ticking time bomb. Always seem to get the time wrong. Turn around, up and then they're all gone. So sick of saying hold on tight. I feel like a ticking time bomb.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Touchline Talk, a 2 on a Tuesday with your boy LNobbins. In today's exciting installment, we're going to be talking about the fallout of the Spurs game. Confirmation, Nodrygo, here we go, question mark. Does that matter at all? Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I'm sure we can have a chat about that. And we'll just have a general chit chat as well, just about, you know, what we felt about the game, what we think about City's season, what we think about our players, you know, that sort of thing. You know, as I say, I don't really, as I have said in the past rather, sometimes I don't really have a set topic list for a certain show. This is one of those where I think we can just have a general sort of chit chat. Of course, I've got some areas that I want to touch on, but it's not like some shows where I've got a proper set amount of topics that I would like to discuss. How are we doing though, guys? Welcome. Hello, Eric says heh. Brilliant. Hello, Yanko. We got Fred. Big up to Brub, Matty, David. Big up the Ram stand. You know, the cook chair, Nodrygo chair. Amazing. Hello, Brawler. What happened to the chat? I don't know what has happened to the chat, Naveen. It looks fine to me. No, right back says snack. Yeah, that's we sort of knew that, sadly. Yeah. He's never wrong, though. Never forget. Hello, Amin. I missed your Spurs stream and video. I've been Pep criticised the last season, but loved Spurs lamp. I thought everyone forgot how to play football. It's a shitty day and nothing else, says Amin. Yeah, if that video's still there, though, it's the analysis video if you want to go give it a watch. It's a slightly longer one because I had a lot more to say. So it's around 25-ish minutes. But I think it's quite a good video. So if you want to give that a watch, just to my more in-depth thoughts, we can, of course, cover that ground today, of course. But if you want like really in-depth thoughts with use of data as well, would recommend giving that video a watch after this stream. Savio set to stay. Donna deals close to snack. Yes, indeed. Louis says, please don't bring Donnarumma. It gives me nightmares. I don't want to lose Savio. The Savio one is looking a bit healthier. Not less so the Edison situation. There'll be a lot of pressure on Savio now, rightly or wrongly. And I'm going to say, so I agree. Just smash my thing there. There is going to be a lot of pressure on Savio. And it's so unfair. It is so ridiculous. Well, it's not ridiculous to have pressure in a vacuum because every single City player has pressure. However, like when, you know, we have conversations with people on Twitter, and this person was saying, right, if Savio doesn't get, what did he say? I can't remember the stat. It was like, I need like minimum 25 G&A from Savio next season, something like that. But it was a number that Nodrygo had never actually done in his entire club career. So really weird expectations are now being had on Savio, who had a very good debut season in a very dysfunctional side as an inexperienced player. Don't really understand the unfair expectations therein. Of course, I think that around 20 is good. He got 14 last season in all comps. I'd say between 20 and 25. What was it? 25? Was it 30? I can't remember what it was. Around 20 is what I would like to see. There or thereabouts. Because if you got 14 or so last year, I'd be liking my wide players to be picking up around 20 in all comps, goals and assists. I think that's reasonable to expect. Especially considering he got that for Girona, 21, and last season he got 14. And everyone was that was a shit year in front of goal, and he still got 14 overall. So I think 20 is a good amount. a good amount. Don no rummen. Sadly, I don't think that hashtag's going to pick up as much speed because it does look like we are doing that. On that note, you guys know I ordered a cardboard cutout of Donnarumma. I don't know if it's fate. I don't know if it's like, you know, a metaphor. It got lost in the post. Every lost it. I've had to contact the company. They're sending me out another one. I don't know if that is I don't know if that's, as I say, a sign from God. But there we go. The cardboard cutout got lost in the post. There we go. Yeah, please like the video, guys. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Amar says, Savio will be used as a means for people. Yes, exactly, Amar. And that is not fair. That's not fair to Savio, is it? Because, and Rodrygo is a better player. He is a better player. Let's not make any mistake about that. He's the more experienced player. He's the older player. He is currently a better player than Savio. I would expect him to have, if he doesn't have a better season than him this season, sorry, then I don't know what's gone on there for that lad, because he's a lot better than Savio is right now, like he just is. But again, my argument has always been, it's not about just collecting good players. It's about having the players that make sense for the team as it is. So a fly has just flown into my room and I'm annoyed. What are you doing? Oh, it's doing the thing where it's like not in the... There you go, it's gone out. Okay, I shouted that enough. There we go. Yeah, we were on LNobbins yesterday and we were just like, having that conversation, and like one of the things that I kept repeating are the Nodrygo vibes. And if this is the case, now it does look like Nodrygo isn't coming to City. Who's the source? It's a good source, isn't it? It's mayonnaise. What was the source? Diario AS, very good source. Tweets by Madrid Zone as well. Nodrygo is staying at Real Madrid, decision made, and the saga is over. So it does appear that is the case, and I'm happy with that decision. And again, it's not because I think that Savio's better, because I don't think Savio's better. It's because right now City are so narrow in respect of our attacking players. Name an attacking player, chances are they are more of a narrow player. Even Bob, who can play out wide, is more of a narrow player, really. Shirky can play out wide, but he's more of a narrow player. Foden is certainly a narrow player. Marmoush is certainly a narrow player. Reinders is certainly a narrow player. We don't have many true wide options. Doku, yes. Bob, yes, even he is narrow. And then Savio is another wide player. I just don't think it makes sense to lose a wide player and like quintuple down on the narrowness of the side. How many times did we complain last season about how City lacked width and didn't have enough in those wide areas? Like we were having to rely on like Gavardio to be our left winger, for example. How many times did we say we need more wide players, we need more width in this side? And Nodrygo doesn't really add that. So that's why I was never really, again, I'm happy that the decision is how it has gone, if that is indeed true and indeed the case. That's what seems to be the case. It looks like we're not getting it right back, I'm afraid. It looks, Halo, that is the latest. Nodrygo, City are signing Nodrygo. Here we go. So yeah, I like Savio, and that surely means he's staying now, right? Because in theory, if we listen to the rumours, it was predicated, his departure was predicated on the arrival of Nodrygo. And that seemingly is now not happening. Therefore, cause and effect, City cannot sell Savio. That is surely the case, yes? That's surely the case right now. And if you are going to sell Savio, just get another wide option. You know? Get an actual winger, a true wide option, a true outlet. Get you I'm not saying these players exactly, but a Barcola, a Leao, a Semenyo. That's a sort of player that you should be trying to replace Savio with. IMO. Elise, Faisal, he could also certainly play there. It's an LP fly. Oh my gosh, is he sending them to me? That's crazy. Yeah, run the likes up, guys. Big up to you all. I'd rather get Nodrygo if it means we don't get Donnarumma. I will say this, I would rather have 5. I would rather have 5 Rodrigos than 1 Donnarumma. I will say that much. So if you thought that I didn't like the idea of the Rodrigo signing because of what I've explained in the past and outlined in the past, I would rather have him 5 times over than the goalkeeper situation. Tally. Tahiti says win-win for City, whether we keep Savia or get Rodrigo. Fix the defence, says Tahiti. I would have loved a right back. Looks like we're not doing it though. If the long-term goal, and here's the question for you, be realistic. Who do you guys want at right back? Because I think this is like a topic that can run and run. Do you know what I mean? Who do you guys want at right back in a realistic world? So you can't say Trent. You know, you can't say Timber. You can't say Frimpong. Who do you want? Because everyone knows my thoughts. I want Livramento. Everyone knows those are my thoughts. I want Livramento. So if the end goal is, well, we can't get him this year, but we'll go in next year for him. If that's the goal, then I understand the long-term vision. But if it's like, we can't get him this year and we're not even going to get him next year because he doesn't want to leave, whatever, then then I don't really know what's happening. Hello, True Citizen. We've got AP in here. Big up to Matty, Smian, Livramento. Where's Quinn Nation or whatever? He had a comment I wanted to pull up and now it's gone. Where's Quinn Nation gone? Is that his username? It's Quinn something or other. Thank you, Manjavit, for the super chat. Let's see what your fortune is. You've been blessed by the Hall and Fortune cookie. Nothing is as good or bad as it appears. Is that a sign? About City's performance against Spurs? Who knows? We will talk about that. I don't think I'm sleeping on Spence. I like Spence. He's fine, but I just don't. He doesn't move me. You know what I mean? He doesn't really move me as like my first choice right back. I just don't know if the gulf between he and Nunes at right back is big enough to justify it. Personally, that's all I'd say. I like Spence. He's not a problem. That's a good point as well. To be fair, man, he has recently signed a contract, so it's largely irrelevant. Explain how Barca build up from back, though they do not have goalkeeper for distribution. Also, I'm afraid how we'll play after Don. Well, this is something that we have explored in previous Touchline talks and also in the post Spurs analysis. And Ask Nobbins, or has that Ask Nobbins been released? There's an Ask Nobbins coming out later today. I can't remember if I touched on it then or in the previous one. I think it's the one coming out today. So I'm not going to answer this question because I answer it in the video. So stay tuned for that, yeah? Losing Kanji will be a big blow, says Giant. Certainly an option at right back that we are losing. Rodrigo only playing on the left or Donnarumma. Yeah, Rodrigo. Yeah. I would rather have Rodrigo. I would rather have Rodrigo and sell Marmouche now than have Donnarumma, personally. That's how concerned I am with the concept of the signing. That is how concerned I am. And again, that Spurs game, and maybe we can pivot to the Spurs game right now. That is a microcosm. Josh saying, I thought it was Monday as well, mate. That Spurs game was a microcosm. And this is my new favourite word, and an allegory for life after Edison. And we spoke about it. You and I, yes, I'm talking to you directly. You specifically, yes, right now, hello. Because you're an intelligent person. We spoke about this, you and I, months ago, didn't we? About how one of the biggest weapons of Edison's existence is actually something that you don't see anymore. It's something that you don't even see anymore. It is an absence of something that we see and therefore don't see. It is the fact that you don't see teams doing what Spurs did to us as much or as frequently. That's going to get worse. No matter who we bring in, to be fair. But certainly, it's Can you guys hear that? There's someone doing... I'm going to check what they're doing. There's someone doing construction work outside, and it's very frustrating. If that persists, then I will close the door and I will have to live in... Right, you can hear it, for fuck's sake. Yeah, thanks, Mr. White Van Man. I really appreciate it. Right, it's just doing his job. But still, I don't care. It's annoyed me. How dare he not understand that I'm live streaming right now? Selfish. Selfish fraud. Yeah, it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And it's certainly going to get worse if we go for a worse goalkeeper. And this is why I really didn't get some of the reaction to the Trafford mistake. This is a goalkeeper who's actually good to above average with his feet. I don't base analysis off a one-game sample size. I personally don't want to go even worse. That's going to make it worse. So I don't really get why people looked at that and went, we need to double down on being shit out from the back. Interesting conclusion. Don't quite get it. Now, if Trafford made a shot-stopping error, I'd get it. I still wouldn't agree, but I'd get it. Like, if Trafford fumbled it and dropped it and went under his legs, I'd get that. But it didn't. So the shouts really confused me. The shouts really confused me. Yeah, exactly. All of you, I'm speaking to you all directly, yeah? Gay is a deal that will either happen next summer or just simply won't happen. Those links have surprised me a little bit. The links have surprised me a little bit. I don't know if it's really a position that we need at centre-back. The only reason why I wanted to keep Akanji wasn't because of his centre-back work necessarily. Of course, in a pinch. But the main reason why I wanted to keep him was because he's an option at right-back as well. And Gayhe's not that. So that does... If it is a real link... It does confuse me a bit because we've tried desperately to get rid of a lot of centre backs. We've sent Hayes out on loan. We've sent Barr out on loan. We're apparently trying to shift to Kanji. That seems odd. That one seems an odd one to me if that's a legitimate connection. And that's not to say I dislike Gayhe because I like him, but I'm just looking at the construct of City's defence, and that confuses me a little bit. So yeah, and Nico says Gayhe only wants Liverpool. So I wonder if City's just being used as a name to push the price up. I don't know, but yeah. You see, so I would actually say this is the one area. Well, there's multiple areas. This is the area where his distribution needs to improve. I saw that. That's one of the things I did note from his time at Burnley. This does need to get better. And against Spurs, it wasn't really good enough. A couple of times it was good. I would say medium sort of pass. That sort of. I don't know what technically is a long pass according to the official definitions. But I would personally regard that. Maybe that one is a long pass. You know, the one that he did to Reinders against Wolves. Is that a medium pass or a long pass? Because Reinders was in his own box, his own half, sorry, and just below the centre circle. That to me seems like on the cusp of a medium one and a long one. Yeah, to me that's a medium one, but I wonder if the technical definition is long. I'm not sure. That's a medium one. Okay, guys, thank you. Yeah, so he is good at the medium. The long one, I would say. So if we're defining maybe long as anything beyond the into the opponent's half, maybe that's a long pass. I'm not sure. Maybe it goes to the final third. I'm not sure. That does need to improve, of course. That does need to improve. But I think the difference is for me is that he's sort of at the age where, well, he's only 22, isn't he? But it's not just the age, it's also the inexperience as well, and it's the growing up in the City Academy, so he's obviously got that mentality in his locker of playing out from the back. So there is a world where I would anticipate them to improve, definitely, because we're not starting at 0, do you know what I mean? Because 5 times 0 is 0. I don't think we're starting at 0 here. So there is a multiplier that can occur here. In my humble opinion. Gayhe links down to his agent, says Naveen. Maybe. Gayhe contract expires 2026. Liverpool should sign. That's a great signing. Singo has gone to Galatasaray. Yeah. I know. To be fair, the Singo situation has now shifted. There's a lot of S's there. Because when I first suggested him, and I still wouldn't mind the concept of Singo either, but at that time in particular, we were less focused on fullbacks as wide players. I still brought that into my thinking because he played as a right wing back for Torino, so he can definitely do that, but he is far more of a defensive option nowadays. So if we were doing, centre-backs playing at right back from a season or so ago, then yeah, ideal, but we seem to be seemingly going in a different direction. Although saying that, we haven't yet seen Nunes start and do what I thought he was going to do. So maybe we are going in a different direction. I'm not sure. Kunde did the same to Kenny contract. Well, there you go. I'm sure it will be a lie. There's surely no way, because Rodrigo's now off the table. Nodrygo is coming to City, not Rodrigo. There's no world that City sell this player and then there's less than a week left. Rodrigo was the only option seemingly, so surely not. Nico, I agree. Yeah, that's something I cover in my analysis video also. For sure. Big up to Herbal and Mad Hatter, absolutely. Long passes typically 30 meters plus. That sounds good. In IDK, I agree, matey. I agree. He's not washed. He's just gone to Turkey. Chill. Yeah, again, I touched it in the video. I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to absolve Trafford of any blame, because it ultimately was his bad decision. But yeah, as the captain, as the leader on the pitch, 47th minute, nearly getting to the second half, you can see that Haaland is available to play it long. You've seen it work. Odd decision making at the back there. Very odd decision making. Nodrygo play right back, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, no, at Herbal, I do agree. 100% Nico, yeah, definitely. Why can't I play like we did versus Juve with the wingers inside? I keep predicting City in my tactical previews. I keep predicting us to do that. It's two games now where I've said, right, and Lewis and Aït-Nouri and Nunes, they're my fullback pairing. Okay, we didn't do it against Wolves, but we should do it against Spurs because it allows... Okay, we didn't do it against Spurs either. I don't know how many times I can predict it before it's just like, I look like a proper idiot. I don't know. And that is a question. That is something I will explore more so in the tactical preview. But now with Aït-Nouri out, it does become an interesting question of what do we do with the fullbacks? Because obviously Aït-Nouri can't play. Now, what was fascinating was Ake came on. I covered this very briefly in the Spurs analysis video, but Ake came on, and I've seen some people suggest that City then went to a 3-2. Hard disagree. Ake was playing in the midfield. He was a left central midfielder, IMO. He was far more advanced than playing in like a traditional City back three in a 3-2. Pep was insistent. I think that tells us everything. Sort of similar to last season where Pep was so adamant on trying to maintain the 3-1-6 even when it clearly wasn't working and we clearly had to adapt and change. He was still so adamant, and then eventually he had to give it up. Exactly, Faisal, that's exactly what it was. Pep was so adamant that he wanted to keep this shape that he started the season with, the 2-3-5. However you create that shape, whether it's with wing backs or whether it's inverted fullbacks, irrelevant. He was so adamant that he played Ake in a position against Spurs I have never seen him play. If anyone can please correct me on that, I would love to know. I've never, ever seen Ake play in the midfield like he did against Spurs when he came on. I've seen Gvardiol do that before. We've, of course, seen Aït-Nouri do that before. We've seen O'Reilly do that before. I've never seen Ake do that ever in his entire City career. Maybe I'm misremembering. And if I am, please correct me. Because, of course, in the treble year, he did sometimes overlap, but I'm talking about his set rest defence position. He wasn't a centre-back, he was a midfielder. He tried to do like Aït-Nouri. That's the way I saw it, Ash. That's the way I saw it. I think what I'm gonna suggest, Matthias, because I don't think Ake did a bad job. What I will say though is, he is a centre-back. And he's not like a Gvardiol centre-back where it's Gvardiol so irrelevant, like all sorts of tactical discussions or profile positional discussions go out the window. Irrelevant. Like, Gvardiol's a unicorn, overused term, but it's appropriate for Gvardiol. He is a unique defender in that sense. Ake obviously isn't that. So I don't know if I want Ake to be starting against Brighton. I think I would rather have O'Reilly in there. To me, he was starting the season as our second choice left back and an option in midfield occasionally. And the good thing about O'Reilly starting at left back, and this is sort of me like previewing my own preview here because I'm thinking as I'm going, is that O'Reilly we know is capable of playing as that more overlapping wide player, so he can give a Marmouche support, but he's also capable of playing in the centre because he's a central player. He's a midfielder. So that's the best of both worlds, really. Whereas with Ake, I mean, it's certainly not this overlapping width holder, first of all, of course. But he's also not really a central option either, so it's neither here nor there. So I would rather O'Reilly start, and that gives City options. So you can either push up the full-back, or you can tuck them inside. He's, aside from Ait-Nouri, and I guess Gvardiol, actually Gvardiol included as well. So we do have three options there who can do that. We have Ait-Nouri, injured. We have O'Reilly, who I want to start. And we have Gvardiol, however, he has to start at centre-back this season. He just has to. Particularly if we are building up in a back two. That means we've lost a body from last year. Or the year before, whenever we were actually competent, yeah? We've lost a body. So we must double down on making that back line in build-up as stable on ball as possible. And the best way to do that, of course, is to play your best ball-playing options. But you've also got to have symmetry. You need a left footer on the left, you need a right footer on the right. That must happen. That, to me, that's a non-negotiable. So I'm having Gvardiol left centre-back, because if you play Gvardiol left-back, and again, you can do that, obviously, but then who plays left centre-back? It's probably going to be Diaz. And he's right-footed, and also not as good on the ball as some of our other centre-backs. So I'm dropping Diaz. And everyone knows I'm a big fan of Diaz. And this is why it annoys me when people say I've got agendas, because I don't. I pick the players based on what I think is going to be optimal. And I love Diaz. I love Ruben Diaz. When he like first time for City, I was like, oh my god, there's a new Vincent Kompany. I adore Ruben Diaz. But I don't think he should be playing right now. In the context of what City are right now. With Ait-Nouri out, Gvardiol must play left centre-back, and if Stones is available, and if we're struggling with build-up, Stones must also start. I don't think there is room for Ruben Diaz to start right now. If Gvardiol is fit, and Stones is fit, they have to play, I think. Because they're both so, by far and away, our best on-ball players. And I don't really like that. I don't want to have to do that. Because I don't know whether Gvardiol and Stones even complement one another. I can't remember too many times they've actually started together at centre-back. We've had this conversation before. They definitely have, because you guys told me the matches when it happened. But it's not that many. Because Gvardiol's not played that many games at centre-back. Never mind partnering with Stones. He barely played centre-back, if ever, in the 23-24 season. I don't think he ever played centre-back. I'm sure he did sometimes, but I can't really remember them. It was primarily left-back. Last season, he did play centre-back, but that was the season where Stones was not here. Like, he was a figment of our imagination last season. So I reckon it's less than 5 games. David says 3. I feel like it's less than 5 games they've actually played together. Now, I don't know if they are going to be a good match for one another, because centre-backs and partnerships, they're a thing. In an ideal world, you would have a more sort of, what am I saying here? Ideally, you would have one proactive defender, centre-back, and one reactive defender, centre-back. I think the best partnership is actually Gvardiol-Kusanov. I think that long term is the best partnership. But the problem is that I don't know if we are in a position where we can easily just say, if what we saw against Spurs continues, and if it worsens by bringing in a worse on-ball goalkeeper, and that seems to be the case, I think that you really need to double down on the ball-playing ability, if that happens. If Ederson was in goal, I would be far more comfortable playing Gvardiol Kusanov. Even though I like Kusanov, I think Kusanov's good on the ball, by the way. Kusanov's better on the ball Kusanov is better on the ball than Diaz, from what I've seen of him. I think Kusanov is actually better. But is it now? Is it optimal to try to integrate him into the side? I do not know. I don't know if that's the case. If and Mussey's just said there, if I need my centre-backs to hold my goalkeeper's hand, then I don't know if right now is the time to do that. What's your guys' optimal centre-back partnership? Again, this is something I explore more in the Ask Nobbins being uploaded later today, where I do explore the Diaz dilemma. What's your, let's say, for the most part, in the league, everyone's fit. What's your centre-back partnership? Let me know. I'd be interested to know that. Let's assume full fitness, so you can have Stones in there. Excuse me. Stones Yoshko might be good. Left side centre half. Yeah, who uses left foot, dictate plays, rather pacey as well. He is quite a quick lad, isn't he? Deceptively so, I'd say. And yes, man, this is one of the concerns I have. I do totally agree with that, because again, there's one of the reasons why Stones and Diaz was such a great partnership was because Stones was that more sort of passive player, Diaz less so. It did work. Yes, exactly, Ram, exactly. One aggressor, one sweep, 100%. Yeah, partnerships are a thing. With time, I agree. We haven't had a solid centre-back partnership since the treble season. I think injuries are partly because of that as well, to be fair, aren't they? Gvardiol plays centre-back in 23-24 in the Newcastle home match, but don't remember him doing it any other time, says Watch, in that season, yeah. And I can't even remember that, to be honest. Oh wait, I'm not LB. AP. Hello? 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 We can trust him. It's just because there's so much bullshit going on at the back for City right now. I just don't know if it's the right environment to integrate in, that's all. Yoshko and Stones need to hold Donna's hand so much they will want to end it all. That's what I mean, yeah. Again, if we bring him in, I think you just have to... you have to double down on your best on-ball players. I think you have to. Now, Fenway, I don't disagree, and that'll just come with experience in the role, won't it? You'd like to think. Anything that involves Kasan Goat. Yoshko Diaz. Stones on the right. Oh, curveball. Interesting. From Mussy. So Stones at right back. Stones Gvardiol. Stones Gvardiol. For Champions League knockouts. Gvardiol Stones. Gvardiol Stones. Gvardiol Stones. Stones Yoshko. Kusanov Yoshko from Ryan. Wachiki Kusa brought in here. Gvardiol and Kusanov. Kusanov Stones. Kusanov Gvardiol. Yeah, long term, that's my preferred partnership. Long term, definitely. 100%. I think they would complement each other really well. Yeah, they just would. They would complement each other really well. And playing at right back right now, and this is also an interesting conversation. Because how far do you go? So let's say that we do bring in a goalkeeper who is even worse on ball. Right. Let's say that happens. Is doubling down on the centre-backs going to be enough? Because I would like to start, based on what we have right now, I'd start Nunes. That's what I would like to do. But we know that like Nunes isn't solid in possession in those tighter areas, like if he's being pressed, for example. So how far does City go? Do you double down with the Gvardiol and Stones partnership? Do you, and obviously Nori can do it, but do you go one step further? Do you triple down and go, well, actually, we also need a right back who is very good on the ball, in which case you might be looking at sacrificing Nunes and playing a Stones or Rico Lewis. Now, I don't want to do that. I want Nunes to play because everyone knows how I want City to play in the attacking areas, and neither other right back can do that. But it introduces an interesting question if we proceed with a goalkeeper who is even worse with their feet. Are we going to have to construct teams where every single defender is a really good on-ball player to compensate? I don't know. That's a question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm thinking out loud. But that's an interesting question to have. And I will say, I don't want to introduce that situation. I don't want to introduce that situation because I don't want to have to go, I must start Lewis or I must start Stones at right back because I'm concerned about building out from the back. I don't want to do that. I want it to be, we're actually competent building out from the back as it is with Nori and Gvardiol and Stones / Diaz / Kusanov, whoever. I can play whoever at right back. I can get my right back pushing up to the wings. I want to have that as an option. It's a tricky one. It's a good question, DJ. Very good question. And again, I'm thinking out loud here. There are lots of unknowns here. Who knows? Maybe the Don will surprise me. And maybe he'll have upped his game massively on ball over the summer. Maybe that's happened. Maybe City will find another way. Right now, it's a concern. It's a concern, and I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. Yeah, Kusanov, I mean, he's popular for a reason, Dave. He's popular for a reason. I like him, by the way. I love Kusanov. I love a defender who will get stuck in. You know, they might frustrate the hell out of me sometimes, but I really dislike it when my centre-back backs off. I think Van Dijk is the best defender in the world. I don't like how he defends, though, from a subjective perspective. I understand that objectively it works and he's the best defender in the world, whatever, but subjectively, I don't like that. You know, that's just a personal opinion. I prefer it when my defender, you know, at the right time, like, actually engages and is aggressive and gets stuck in. And that sounds very Brexit, you know, football, but that's what I like from my centre-backs, personally. You know, Vincent Kompany. It's why Vincent Kompany is my favourite defender. Obviously, he's a legend for City as well, but, you know. Although I did love Laporte, and he wasn't really that. I'm a bag of contradictions, but still. Although Laporte was still aggressive, to be fair, at times. Anyway, Kompany's the prime example of that. I love it, Vinny. Can we just bring Vinny back? Can we, like, I don't know, clone him? Oh, dear. An interesting conundrum. Yes, indeed. Definitely must. Oh, yeah, there's no question. There's no question there. I reckon that Nunez could do this, but not deep. So if we want to make the 2-3, I don't really care what's happening on the left side. Let's say Ait-Nouri is inverting and let's say Rodri's starting and Ait-Nouri is pushing inwards, so you've got Rodri in the centre of the midfield, Ait-Nouri off the left. I wouldn't be comfortable with Nunez as the right central midfielder. And that sounds really stupid because he's a midfielder. However, we know that Nunez isn't particularly safe on ball, so I don't know how happy I would be with him in the deeper areas. What I would like, though, what I could get on board with, which I think we sort of saw, was, we sort of saw this against Juventus, I think it was, and you had Savio and Nunez sometimes rotating a little bit, and in that situation, Nunez was technically the right winger / the right 10. I'd be happier with him in those sorts of areas if he was to invert into the midfield and then rotate out wide, rather than be deeper and do what Rico Lewis does, you know, where he's part of that 3. I'd rather he be a part of the attacking 5 rather than the midfield 3, if that makes sense. Pep will copy what Enrique did last season, where Roger will start the build-up rather than the keeper. Yes, indeed, AP. We're going to have to do that. We're going to have to sacrifice players. But the big difference is, and this is something that Spartacus and I have been discussing, is that PSG play with like a false 9. They don't have a true out-and-out striker. So whoever's playing up top, let's say it's Dembele for argument's sake, he can easily drop deep and assist in the build-up for the midfield as well. It's not a problem. But we know that Haaland's can't do that because he's a striker. So the setup can't work. It can't be replicated perfectly because the two sides aren't the same. Now, if this was City if this was false 9 City, then absolutely. There we land, man. If this was false 9 City from, you know, from what, well, when was that? 2021 through to 2023-ish? That's those 2 seasons, you know the ones I mean. And you've got Foden, for example, false 9, or Gundo, or Kevin, whatever, Bernardo, whatever. Then it works a bit more, because obviously the false 9 can just drop, and they can fill the voids that the midfielders had to leave by dropping to the goalkeeper. That is definitely a thing that can happen, but we can't replicate what PSG did because we don't play false 9 football anymore, because we've got an actual 9. And I prefer 9 football, BT dubs. False 9 football was fun as a concept, but there's a reason why, like, the best managers want strikers. They want proper actual 9s and proper strikers. They want proper goal scorers. And false 9 football was great, but it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating to watch at times. The amount of chances that we were creating, not converting, was ridiculous. As I say, it was pretty to watch at times, but my word, was it frustrating. Yeah, that did annoy me, Nico, won't lie. I don't like it when that happens, waiting for it to bounce, I agree. People are still talking about inverted Stones or Lewis. It's outdated. We need to go back to basics. Fullbacks play further forward. AP? I'd like to see both, but in the main, I would like to see overlapping. I agree, sorry. I'm the perfect company replacement. Brilliant. That ship seems to have sailed. Raza, that ship seems to have sailed. What's the future of Nico after Rodri comes? Will he play alongside Rodri as a double pivot and Reinders as the 8? Asks David. Yeah, good question. Nico, to me, is going to be an alternative to Rodri, but he's also going to be someone who in the trickier games can play alongside him, slash ahead of him as well. So his future is he's an 8 primarily, to be rotated with, like, you know, Reinders, Bernardo, whoever, a Kovacic if he stays, and then to start in Rodri's absence as well. That's his role with this club, I think. That's the role. I don't like Aït-Nouri in the midfield. I agree. I prefer him to be out wide, personally. His crossing's really good. If you are going to play him in the centre, at least let him rotate with that left-sided player like we saw with Doku against Juve. I know, DJ. It's frustrating, but his on-ball work's not really improved. It's never really improved, and it has to be really good with the 360 vision that you have to have in the midfield. You've got to be scanning all the time, and your touch has got to be assured all the time. Like, again, you've got to be a really good scanner. Your first touch has got to be really good. Enrico has that. Foden has that. Reinders has that. Rodri has that. Those sorts of players. Nunes doesn't really have that. Can't wait for the Nobbins heel turn when Casal picks up a red after getting stuck in. Yeah, absolutely. Hall and false 9, there we land, yeah. Deary me. Typical City done a great piece on Donnarumma and other keepers who came out really well overall. People have told me about this, and they've said that the conclusion was because Donnarumma's passing accuracy is high, he's therefore good on the ball. That's not how data works, I'm afraid. I address this in more detail in my Ask Nobbins video. It's a very bad use of data, I'm afraid. We're playing with 10 men with the new goalkeeper. Yeah. Why Spurs taking so long to submit offers for Savio? It's like they want to screw us over. Well, he's not going now, is he? He's surely not going right now. There's no world. There's no world in which he goes if we're not bringing in Rodrygo. That seemed to be... One was linked to the other. One was linked to the other, surely. Farage a shot, 0 goes, false 9, baby. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Guys, we've got a fair few people who are, you know, with us right now. So please leave a like on the video. It's free, and it helps support your boy. It helps support your boy. Yeah, over 200 people watching. Let's get to 150 likes, though, shall we? Come on now, get it up here, get it up here. As I say, we're just having a bit of a general chit-chat today. I don't really have a set topic, and yet we've still been able to yap for 45 minutes. We can touch on the Spurs game a little bit more. We can maybe touch on like the role of Marmoush, but I'm open to basically talk about anything, to be honest with you. Can Donna just boot the ball to Holland's general area? And tell you what, the way that Man United are playing, low-key, which is stupid, by the way. So if they want to double down on their stupid play, low key, United should sign Donnarumma, because this is exactly what they're doing. Amorim is such a shit tactician, and I've done a fault. I was willing to give him time to see, like, with his signings, and I was like, this seems fundamentally flawed, but hey, I'll wait to see if it works. His build-up structure is so fundamentally shit and inherently flawed and cannot work in the Premier League that they just have to forego it and just punt it into a general area. So they may as well just get Donnarumma. You know, at that point, if your entire build-up structure is so fucked beyond belief that it fundamentally does not work, and you're punting it up anyway, you're having to rely on long balls, just go get Donnarumma anyway. If you're doing that. Now, obviously, you shouldn't have to rely on that, because if you are relying on long balls, not long passes, long balls, then that means that every single build-up action is a chaotic 50-50 battle. I don't like those odds of 50-50 and like winning flick-ons and that sort of thing, and winning second balls and punting it into a general area. Because as I say, there are so many variables to go that can happen there. You're not really in control of a lot. As I say, it's quite a chaotic game state that you're creating from your own goal kick or from your own attempted build-up. That shouldn't really happen. And this is why United can't ever get footholds in games against better opposition. Because the other team... I mean, you saw the comments from Marco Silva as well. And the players. They basically said... It was really simple. We knew what we had to do. We knew how they were going to play. It was quite straightforward. That's Fulham saying that about you. Maybe something's not working. And now you're getting rid of Kobe Mainu, allegedly. He apparently wants to go. Mental. Mental. Sooner they get rid of Amorim, the better. Horrendous tactician. We'll be doing Red Dead Redemption 2 tonight on Twitch, 7 p.m. after the Boys in Blue stream on We Are the South Stand FYI. How are they playing? Shit. That's what I mean, DJ. It's just ridiculous. We saw it against Arsenal. Oh yeah, and Boomer's going to beat Saliba and Gabriel in the air. Oh yeah, well done. What are we doing? What are we doing? Love you too, Toby. How you doing? No, I did not. I don't know where this is coming from. No. No. That's Tom. Tom Little was desperate for him. Fortune for Toby. Your happiness is intertwined with your outlook on life. Okay. Cool. Think we go back for Cambiasso if Nodrygo happens. I think Cambiasso's done. I think that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. This guy. I don't know. He liked him. I don't know. He was sold a dream. You know. I wouldn't mind Nagelsmann. I still like Inzaghi. But yeah, that's the thing. Someone said, do you want to talk about the attack? Let's look at the City attack within the context of the Spurs game. Thoughts, chat. What are your thoughts on the attack? We'll chat about this because someone asked a question, so we can chat about this. What do you think? What do you make of it? Happy? Well, not happy. We didn't score a goal, but like more specifically. Like, what was, to you, yes, you right now, I'm addressing you individually again, yeah? What did you think about the attack, the attacking players? Was there a performance that excited you or that you were shit? Yeah, exactly. You exactly, definitely. Oh, speaking of, people, big up. 2 people recognized me at the Etihad on Saturday. I was walking through the concourse and I just heard, I was like we're walking towards like my area, and Nobbins, It's like, what? I still haven't quite got used to that yet. And I was like, oh, you're right, mate. I was like, oh, I love your video. I was like, oh, thank you, mate. Thank you. That was very nice. And then it turns out that there's someone in my row who also has been watching me but he didn't say. So this person, he sits like five seats to my right, I think. He walked past me and said, oh, I watch your videos. Now, he didn't say he liked my videos. He just said, I watch them. So he may actually think... So I guess I should have gone, oh, I'm glad you like them. I guess I didn't say that because then he could have gone, oh, I didn't say I like them. I just said I watched them. They're fucking shit. I like to think that he enjoyed watching them as well. But there we go. I just thought that was funny. Exactly, Toby. Yeah, he didn't say he liked them. Just said, oh yeah, I watched them. Huh. Let's see what you guys think about City's attack. Wasteful, just a one-word summation. Our best frontliner, Marmish, Hall, and Shirky is the best in the world, says Smyan. A waste of chances, says Omar. No through past the Haaland's what I saw. Foden looked really good, left 8, says Trey. I concur. Could have scored 4. I don't disagree. Created great chances. The run was mental. This Toby guy. Hated the Marmouche touchline shift, but I liked when Foden came on. Yes. There was a transition when Holland was free 3 times in a single run, but no one passed. Not clinical. Guys, I'm pointing and staring at all of you on an individual level. Marmouche and Haaland could have done better with the early chance we had. Could have changed the game if just one of those is taken. Tactics mostly right, just weren't clinical. Is game this team still really shit? So it's always shit the first day of a new season because they always change something. So what used to happen was the ticket. I mean, they've got rid of physical tickets a few years ago now. But what is, I think anyway, I don't know about temporary ones, but anyway, if you got a season ticket, you get your phone and you pop it into a thing, so it's penetrating the thing, yeah. Whereas now it's sort of more like a tube or like a train situation where you scan it, and there's 2 different things to scan, and I didn't know which one to do. It wasn't very clear. Thankfully, mine worked first time, but lots of people's didn't. So you had loads of queues waiting people outside, and that's always going to be the case with the first game of the season. But it just feels like an unnecessary change. You know, I don't really know. Not clinical at all. Yes to CJ. We look great, just need to be clinical, says Matthew. Just isn't yet. Mamu struggled, says Ash. Bit inexperienced, too many chances, not enough goals with 0. Yes, indeed. We seem to struggle against Shirky on the ball when he's most effective in the first half. IMO, says DJ. Mamush isn't a 10, says John. Who's Nodrygo? Hey, he's going to be our star signing, mate. He's going to be our star signing. Yeah, so I agree with a lot of what has been said here, to be honest with you. I know that I've already done the video, so you guys will have already seen these examples, but I'm gonna whip it out just to illustrate my point. I'm not going to go to the touch screen. I'm just going to go over here. There we go. And to the tactics board, Bop. Yeah, so my thoughts on the attack. Let's go back to where we were. Where were we? My thoughts on the attack. This is a great video. This is a sneak preview of the analysis video that is not a preview because it's already been uploaded, so go watch it after this if you so desire. Yeah, I'm showing the match, guys, 1 frame at a time, so maybe by next year in 60 FPS we'll be done. I don't know how long that would take. If you're doing a frame a second and you're in 60 FPS and the game is, you could probably do that quite quickly. It's 90 times 60 times 60 again, isn't it? Whatever that calculation is, I guess that's how many seconds it will be. Yeah, so my thoughts on the attack were similar to what a lot of you guys have said. I didn't inherently dislike the concept of the attack. Big up to you, Andrew, of course. Big win for Liverpool last night, definitely. I didn't dislike the concept of the attack. I was a bit concerned at Shirky and Bob both starting. I feel like it's too soon for him to be playing in the centre off ball. And he did a good job in respect of like the intensity off ball, but you can just tell that he's not used to pressing from there. The amount of times where he just wasn't bending his run in the correct areas. I don't think he ever pressed as a central midfielder for Lyon. If anyone can correct me on that, let me know. I certainly can't remember him ever pressing as a central midfielder for Lyon. Right wing, yes. Left wing, yes. Attacking midfielder, yes. I don't know if I've ever seen this. And it looks like it at times. He wasn't offering Bob enough off-ball support either. It's not a dig, it's just inexperience in an off-ball role. I don't know why we opted to do that against Spurs of all teams. Silly, Pep, silly, naughty, in your bed. Spray bottle, spray bottle. We created so much. We created so much, and this is the problem, and this is why it's so annoying. And here are some of the just some of the chances that City created, sorry. And the finishing was shit and it wasn't good enough. Clearly, we scored 0 goals. The final action was never good enough. Reinders is on the ball here. Can I? Yeah, I can zoom in. Look at this, guys. Look at this, I'm a genius. Reinders is on the ball here, I believe. Or he's just played it to hold. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Reinders is on the ball. Just slip it in. Slip it in. Slip it into Marmouche there. Not hard. Bad decision. Oh. Bad decision making. Get rid of that arrow. Bad decision making. Denied the assist of the season. Denied the assist of the season. Haaland. How on earth is my big bulky League 2 technical number 9 picking it up on the halfway line, and then within 6 seconds dribbles all the way through Spurs' midfield, and then slips in a pinpoint perfect ball for the second striker partner? In what world is that allowed to happen? So big up to Haaland, because that was a ridiculous bit of play. But yeah, this is mental, man. Run onto that quickly, hit it across goal if you need to. Or underneath the goalkeeper, but he took too long. He hit it straight at the goalkeeper. Not good enough. This wasn't even the best chance of the game. What I'm showing you right now was not the best chance of the game for City. That's a goal every single time. That is a goal every single time. A goal every single time. Bob, brilliant. There's a reason why I wanted Bob to start. He, Foden, Bernardo, they are in their own league, RE pressing intelligence and intensity. They are in their own league. I don't know if anyone else comes close. Really. Marmouche has the intensity, doesn't have the intelligence yet. Savio has the intensity, doesn't have the intelligence yet. I don't know if I can name anyone else who's more intense than them. Bob is already up there. Big up to him. That's why I want him to start. Wins it from Spence. What is this? I love Reinders. You guys know I'm a massive fan. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the world. What is this? Reinders, mate. Come on. Haaland and Bob have done so well to win the ball back off Van de Ven and Spence. Look at how much space you've got. He tries the impossible first-time lob out to Shirky, who's making the running behind. I don't even necessarily dislike the idea, because it's a fun idea, but it's 0-0 against Spurs. And what's so frustrating is that this goes out for a goal kick, and then from this goal kick, Spurs score. It's very frustrating. So Reinders there, take a touch, then maybe you can pass into Shirky, or just have a shot yourself after the first touch. Bizarre. I love Reinders, but yeah, bizarre. Oh, this is mental, man. Again, I don't think Shirky had the best game, But as I say, we're talking about the attack right now. These are all the attacks that I keep saying how City was so wasteful. This is from the corner, and Shirky does brilliantly well. So even on an off game, Shirky has created one of the best chances of the game. In what world is this not a goal? If someone showed you this screenshot, they'd go, right, well, clearly Haaland, easy header, bosh. 2-1, City back in it before half-time. That Trafford error is now irrelevant. Shirky created an amazing chance. Yeah, Haaland's world. I love Haaland. Should have got an assist. Head game week, yeah, needs to sort that out. This ain't good enough. That's not good enough. Look at that. That's not a goal. That's not a goal. How? City do not score from this position. How? These are not half chances. These are not moments of fantastic Spurs defensive work like the Van de Ven block late on. This is a, 100% chance to score. Or it should be. All those screenshots I've just shown you, how is the Marmoush one not a goal? How is the Haaland one not a goal? This is a goal every single time. Every single time. That's why it's so frustrating. So wasteful in front of goal. Don't worry, we're getting to the Rodri header, don't you worry. And this I'm not even done. I'm not even done with the chances, but these are, as I say, these are three ridiculous. This isn't, oh, well, it's a half chance, or, oh, a great save by the goalkeeper. No. These are, you must be scoring every single one of his goals every single time, regardless of context, game state, opponents. The first one's on Marmoush, the second one's on Haaland, this one's on Haaland as well. The pass is horrendous. I don't really know what he's thinking here. It's the simplest. That through ball he did to Marmoush was unreal. And then he does this. It's just so frustrating. Even this one. This is, to be fair, is maybe more of a half chance. All Bernardo's got to do is head it back across goal for Haaland to have a tap in. And he heads it over to the crossbar. That's less clear cut, but that's still a good chance. It's not as obvious as the others. That's still a good chance to score, though. Then we this one this is a bit tricky. The angle's tight, to be fair, and then I touched on the goalkeeper. We don't need to look at that, guys. We don't need to look at that. This was annoying because, again, just like still touching on the attack. I briefly mentioned it in the analysis video how I did like Doku and Foden's connection when that happened. Foden's not even touched the ball yet, but he's made the run in behind. And again, Foden looked good, by the way. Foden looked very good. I was very happy with that. I was happy with his usage. Yeah. Give me a start next time, please. He's now back from injury. Doku did well. It's again, someone's actually making the run. Foden is. His starting position was here. And this is what I mean. This is why when I say that I want Foden to play as a central midfielder, or like a deeper player this season. And then people say, oh, but you're not concerned that he's therefore going to be less influential in the attack. But his starting position was here. And look where he's ended up. He doesn't have to stay stagnant. The best goal-scoring midfielder in Premier League history is Frank Lampard. Objectively, Frank Lampard, who was more of an 8. He didn't stay because he was a box-crashing midfielder. He was a box-to-box midfielder. He didn't have to just stay in the centre and go, oh, I'm not going to impact the goal here. He was the best goal-scoring midfielder ever, so I don't see how it takes away from Foden's offensive work, to be honest with you. Including penalties, yeah, but still, obviously, it's still insane. So Foden makes the run that Doku needs. It goes out for a corner. This would have been Foden's first touch, by the way. Again, just goes to show the elevation in his corners from a couple of seasons ago. Last year, he showed he was good at corners. Guys, this is a fucking goal. Every single time. Every time that's a goal. This is a free header. It's a fantastic ball in by Foden. The definition of a free header. And it heads it straight, and it's not even like this is Diaz on the ball in the air, who is, you know, a bit sus with his aerials. Rodri is so good in the air, and I get it that he's coming back from injury and whatever. This is a goal, though. It just is. It just is. And again, Spurs have been done there. Like, Van de Ven's not really doing anything. He's touching him, but contact's a thing. That's a goal every single time. Should be anyway. Obviously not. Exactly, Fenway, yeah. And there was a moment where Rodri headed it back to a Spurs player, and it could have been a goal for them, but for Trafford's goalkeeping, so fair play to Trafford for that. But yeah, overall, Rodri looked good, and yeah, this should be a goal, though. This was the one moment where it was actually very good defending by Spurs, to be fair. So this is a good chance, but it's fantastic defending. So Haaland as well finds Foden. Again, the relationship between Foden and Doku. Foden finds Doku. Doku drags the man. Look at Foden's starting position. He plays it and then it runs. Look at all the players surrounding him. Then Foden does a thing. He goes as if he's going to run forwards, and then he backs off. That's how you generate space if there is none. You run forward, you back off. It also helps that, so he's backed off here. All the players are now sucked into Doku because they're obviously concerned. They've now forgotten that Foden's there, or not paying attention to him. Doku does well, and to be fair, this is a fantastic block by Van de Ven. I've got to give them credit there. Yeah, and this did mean that Foden then was limping a little bit. Hopefully, and that's very worrying because an ankle injury is what kept him out at the start of the season, and it looked like he was holding his ankle. So hopefully it's fine. Fuck Van de Ven if he's actually injured him. So hopefully he's fine. Because if Foden's turning into an injury-prone player, then that is incredibly bad news for City, of course. So those are my thoughts on the attack. That the team did their job in like getting into the areas and generating the chances, and that a lot of that isn't going to be reflected in the XG either. Like that one where it was the one where Haaland's just got to square it to Shirky, that didn't actually end up in a shot, but that would have been like, had he just passed it to Shirky, that's like, I don't know what XG that would be, but it's a tap in, so it'd be mentally high, you know, like a 0.6 or 0.7, something ridiculous like that. So it won't be reflected in there. I don't know what the official chances were, but you've seen them. These were not half chances. These were not hopeful, wishful thinking situations. So yeah, it's a shame that that's what happened, but this is why I'm not too down about the performance, to be honest with you. I'm not too down about it. We'll be live for like another 15 minutes or so. Do we have any other questions or topics that we would like to discuss? Let me know. Let me know. I feel like we covered a lot of good ground today, but do let me know what you think. Now that we aren't getting Nodrygo, do you think we could set up similar to the treble season without Nori and Rico inverting into midfield like Stones did? It looks like we want to do a 2-3. That seems to be what Pep desires, rather than a 3-2, because Ake came on and played in midfield. So that would be my prediction there. How's the Nancy match ready for the Etihad yet? No, she's still in hospital, I'm afraid. We'll see how we get on. She got to watch the game. I mean, fucking lost, didn't we? She got to watch the game because they wheeled her into like a room next door where there was a TV, but I'm not sure how happy she would have been with it. I don't think Mainu would be gettable. I think he'd be very good though. I think he'd be very good. I like Mainu a lot. Trafford or Edison against Brighton. I need to go back and watch the Brighton-Everton game. Because I know some people watched the Brighton game. Can you guys give me a sneak preview? What did you make of Brighton's performance? I don't think I've watched Brighton yet this season. So I do need to watch them to have an idea of how they might set up and play. They drew against Fulham, okay. And they only scored a penalty, understood. Who do they play? Yeah, I'm a bit scared of Mitoma and Minter. I do like them. No, Hinshaw, did he not start? Is he even on the bench? Am I being stupid? Did he play the next game? No. Where is he? Oh, he came on in the second game. Okay. Brighton got spanked by Everton. Pickford bailed Everton out. They lost, so they must be rubbish. Brighton were poor, says Tahiti. They played great, but missed a lot of chances. Oh, it sounds like City. It sounds like City. Yeah, so they had more of the ball game. I watched the game, but just like based on like this very brief data. Oh, wow. 3 big chances. 3 big chances missed. Okay. Wow. 2.4 XG and 0 goals. Fucking hell. Right. Okay. Interesting. Oh, they missed a penalty. Ah, that's why. Okay, that's why. So 2 big chances from open play then, I guess. That penalty will be doing a lot of heavy lifting. Still 1.6 from open play is a lot. That's still a lot to not get any goals. That is impressive. That is impressive. Looks like interesting. Looks like they played a back 4 on both occasions. They often played a back 5 last season, so that will be interesting. Will they revert because they're up against City? They are at home. Did they play a back 5 against us last season? I feel like they did. When was the game against Brighton that we lost? Bastards. I feel like it was in the new year, was it? Oh no, wait, no, it was on that shit run, wasn't it? Which is around November time. There we go, 9th of November. What did they play then? I can't recall. What did they do, the little bastards? Oh no, they played a back 4 then as well. Okay. They also played a back 4 then. Fair enough. Fair play. I am misremembering then. I am misremembering. So they played a back 5. Sounds like the perfect game for the Don. Happy for Grealish. Yeah, I hope. Hey, as City fans, we should want him to do well. We can actually get some money from him. Is it the home game I'm thinking of, Matthias? Maybe you're right there. I watched that game for Grealish. It says Yanko. Lovely. Then your left back can easily be got at, so would love Bob to start. Yeah, I'll go into more detail on my lineup for Brighton, of course, when it's when I do my tactical preview. But I think I might not be playing Shirky again. And I've not predicted Shirky to start once, but I think it's because I don't think the Bob should be dropped right now. It'll drop the day before, Fenway. I don't think Bob should be dropped right now. He's playing really well, and his off-ball work is fantastic. I don't think he's done anything wrong, really. I'd probably play him again, to be honest. And that gives you the option of the right back. That means you can play either Lewis or Nunes more easily. So I'd go for Bob again, to be honest. I know that's crazy, Ultimate, but Bob has impressed me. He's impressed me a lot, and I think he deserves to play again. Yeah, I don't disagree, Dave. Yeah, well, I thought he was our only... I think it's between him and Nico Gonzalez, I would say. I mean, we're only 2 games in, of course, but I'd say it's between those two. They were the ones who I say were consistent to good against Spurs. See, it's an interesting one. I haven't really thought about it. I wonder if there's a world where this season, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm open to the idea of Shirky playing on the left off ball and then pushing into the centre on ball. Because as long as you get him into the centre, who cares? Like, who actually cares where Shirky plays off ball, like if it's out wide, whatever. He has played off the left for Leon before off ball, as I say. And as long as you're still giving him access to the centre, that could be a thing. So if we do persist with left wing issues, that could, and we want to start Bob, and therefore you can't really fit Shirky into the centre, that could be a viable option. It could be a viable option. It would need Aït-Nouri to start, of course it would. But that's a thing, potentially. That could be a thing. That could be a fun thing. I don't know. Maybe that's an insane concept, an insane idea. But if you want to get Bob and Shirky into the same side optimally, I think that's one of the ways I'd suggest you could do it. I'm just thinking out loud about Shirky, Yash. I'm just thinking out loud about him. Gvardiol must start. Rodri must start. I think Foden must start, and he must start in the centre. If I see Foden on the wings against Brighton, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be so bored of this shit. I just play him in the centre. I don't give a fuck. Just play him in the centre. I do not care at this point. Just do it. I think all of those players must start, if available, and it seems like they are going to be available. Rodri and Foden now have minutes in their legs. Cavagio's got another week to get back to it. If they're available, they all have to start, don't they? They really do. They really, really do. Guys, is there anything else that we want to touch on? Because I feel like I'm running out of things to say. I don't want to bore you. Anything else we want to touch on before we wrap up today's show? Fact checker, I don't disagree. Absolutely, yeah. If anything, it makes us worse in that area. Would I drop Marmouche? I need to go back and watch how Brighton played, because that's gonna massively depend on what I do on the left. To be fair, Brighton, they often play quite in relative terms. They often play quite aggressively against us, and they often also try to play football, if that makes sense. In which case, that's more a game tailored for Marmouche. In which case, Nico O'Reilly must start over Ake. If that's my conclusion, and I think it is, that might be what I do. I wouldn't probably change much from the Spurs game then. I take out Shirky and Nico. I pop in Rodri and Foden. So that's probably my midfield. It's a far more stable midfield. Probably keep the front three the same, and then obviously the defense has to change as well. But I like that as a concept. I do like that as a concept, definitely. Definitely. I'll go back and watch how Brighton played against Everton, though, just to make sure I'm happy with that. Because if I feel like Brighton might be a bit more defensive, then maybe Doku starts instead. And maybe that's... Naveen, maybe, to be fair, maybe Foden shouldn't even start. Maybe Rodri and Nico should start. Or maybe you could have Foden off the left, but have O'Reilly push up. And he's still technically in the centre. But I just want us to move on from that. I want us to move on from false winger stuff, and I just want it to be a locked-in, perma midfielder. Now, that's my aim, that's my ambition for Foden this season. That's what I would like to see. I really hope we do see that. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. There is going to be an Ask Nobbins being released at 4 o'clock today. So make sure to tune in for that. We are exploring questions such as the ideal City defensive partnership. I'm debunking once and for all the passing accuracy Donnarumma myth, touching on Rodri being used as a central centre-back, touching on Doku's best position, and there's another topic involved in there as well that I can't remember, but it's a good video. Would recommend tuning in. Hopefully you guys are enjoying and hopefully you're noticing the amount of content that is being put up by your boy. Right now we're doing, of course, Touchline Talk streams, of course, the live shows, but we're also doing the post-match analysis, we're doing the tactical previews, we're doing the Ask Nobbins, and we're also doing 5 observations from a match, the YouTube short. So hopefully you guys are appreciating all the content. Big up to all my beautiful YouTube members. If you want to join this illustrious list of beautiful people, click that join button, or the link is in the video description. You can join for £2.99 a month, which I believe is cheaper than a coffee. So if you want to support your boy for the price of like a coffee or whatever, and I'm sure that, as I say, if you go to Starbucks, it's probably even more expensive than that, then click the join button, because you also get lovely perks as well, in addition to supporting your boy. And it's a beautiful time had by all. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be live on Twitch later today at 7 PM. Goodbye, guys.